Thank you, Representative Beddinghoff. To introduce House Bill 59 was my great pleasure because it was one of the things I felt that Pennsylvania needed to address for many, many years. I used to give speeches, and I still do from time to time, about people that work in this building, people I've worked with in other places around the state who had real disabilities. Here, I met a gentleman several years ago that was totally blind and would come here to work every day. And I could hear him coming up the hall before we had carpet in my building, and I could hear him tapping his way to work. And I got to thinking, there are so many able-bodied people who are not working, and here are these people who really have a right to say, I am truly disabled. Somebody should take care of me, and they refuse to. And I always thought, you know something? If these people can come to work every day and you're able-bodied, you should try to do your best to go to work every day. That's part of what this reform's all about. Taxpayers just can't keep up with escalating costs, and Pennsylvania cannot rely on the word of the federal government anymore to hold up its end of the bargain. No matter what is budgeted, as long as the current human services system remains unchanged, state spending will outpace its revenues. The General Assembly passed legislation to reasonably reform the system, and Governor Tom Moul should just sign House Bill 59, the Human Services Code. Entitlement spending is one of the state's main cost drivers, and until we get those costs under control, we will continue to have billion-dollar deficits. These reforms simply help bring these programs under reasonable control. Medicaid expenses skyrocketed more than 35% over the past 10 years, while overall state spending increased 8%. Funding for the Department of Human Services equals 38% of the overall state budget, and the Medicaid component itself accounts for almost 21.5% of the state budget. To help contain these costs and bring about real cost savings, if enacted, the new Human Services Code could save taxpayers hundreds of millions of dollars, depending on the waivers requested and approved. Governor Wolf's administration would craft and submit the waivers. House Bill 59 extends provider submissions for child welfare placement costs. If vetoed, the Commonwealth would lose $30.8 million in federal Title IV maintenance funds. House Bill 59 provides a 3-year continuation of the process, which requires providers to submit documentation to the Department of Human Services of their costs of providing out-of-home placement services. DHS uses this documentation to support the claim for federal funding and for the state reimbursement for allowable direct and indirect costs for replacement services. House Bill 59 would also require the Department of Human Services to submit a waiver for Medicaid to pay for treatment after 15 days of inpatient, which is currently prohibited. That is directed at the opioid substance abuse treatment, one of the governor's keynote issues, as it is all of our keynote issue. It is something that we have come to realize in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania that we absolutely must get a handle on, and this bill helps to address that. I can't imagine why our governor would make the statement that he's going to veto this bill if it lands on his desk. Why, Governor, would you not want people to go back to work if they are able-bodied and can work? The free ride should be over. If you are truly disabled and you can't work, I give you that pass. But if you can work, we need to encourage people to get out there and be a productive member of society. We have an opioid problem. a heroin problem that is killing our kids. This bill addresses a part of that problem. It allows for payment past 15 days, and anyone who's been around the issue of opioids and heroin, you know darn well that you cannot solve that problem. You cannot get over that addiction in 15 days. This bill allows for a lengthier stay. I'll just sum up by saying, please, Governor, sign the bill.